Welcome to our mini Shebeen. I'm your host, Bosbe Mukwambo. And for today's Shebeen, we have a human rights special. So we invited the Oscar chairperson, Nelva Mupita, to become part of the debate. A debate that asks the question, have our former liberators become our new oppressors? This is naturally within the context of human rights, tries to focus on students and narrows it down to protest action. Without further ado, let's get straight into the debate.
Let's be honest. Throughout the whole reign of the ANC, it's been a series of incompetence. ESCOM being the poster child of incompetence.
The ANC at the moment, I feel like it's comfortable with the position that they're holding. So if you don't strike, they don't give you. But if you strike, so that's the culture that we have learned, that the government is comfortable and won't say that they're incompetent, right? They're just comfortable with the position that they hold. And they're creating a culture of violence, of a culture of people protesting every time when they need things. Understand? Instead of just saying, you know what, guys, I think right now the budget is like this. Let's just fix this. Let's fix education. Let's fix healthcare. But before, you need to protest before you get that right.
At the end of the day, the ANC is the actual villain. They create problems. You say to yourself, the ANC knows what the problems are, but they're comfortable. And only after we go to war with them, which is the protest, does the ANC then go like, you know what, maybe we can do something about this. And it's not just that example. It's also the example of xenophobia.
Yeah.
With xenophobia, people strike, and then only later, I don't know how many strikes, literally got so bad, the ANC then said, we can make a legislation that's going to basically say, like, you know what, certain business in townships are off limits to anybody but South African citizens. So, again, have our leaders now become the villains of our story, because it is them that we're fighting, and only after we fight them and we win do they then give us what we want.
But then, and that's I understand your statement, but the part that I'm just saying that I don't agree with, right, is the part where it looks like they are the oppressors. You understand? We have to look at that. As much as they have their flaws, right? They have a certain good that they have. You understand? And why I'm saying they have a certain good is because this is what the people see, and the people are voting for them because of that. You understand? Mm-hmm. So you, like you said earlier, you mentioned that we people are voting for them because of the things that they get, what they are benefiting from them, right? Let's look at those benefits. Those benefits, it means that there's certain good that they're doing. That's why people are voting for them. You understand? And people need to understand that the government is trying its best to hold all the areas, right? And remember the things like corruption that are happening in the country, right? And because we cannot pinpoint who's corrupt, right? Because we go into commission of inquiries, and then things come out that no, he was not the one, it was the other person, and those are things that every country goes through, right? But then now, if we're saying that because of what one person is doing, everyone is a villain, but then we're still voting for the villain, we can't call them oppressors because we want the oppressors there. So it is different from apartheid. When apartheid, we never wanted these people there, right? And we show them that we never wanted them, right? We show them by voting for what? For the ANC. The black people, I get it. We voted for the black people went into positions. We were happy. Right? But okay, why can't we do the same? If you people claim that, because all over the news they're saying ANC that, right? But why can't we do the same with the ANC if you claim that you don't like them that much? So I wouldn't say that they're oppressors. I wouldn't say that they're the villains. I would just say that they're just neutral. People love them. Like that's what it is.
Okay, I hear you. So now let's just conclude this. First of all, are we then saying that, from what you're telling me, basically the way that the ANC is currently set up, it's a structure that responds to peer pressure, the pressure being from us, and we can assume they're our peers because we want them in power and we encourage them in power, meaning they're not our oppressors, as you put it, but rather we ourselves are the ones assisting the oppressors to oppress us. So let's assume that someone was killed at a fees must fall strike, or when students go striking, something bad happens, someone dies, someone ends up in hospital, something of that nature. The police shoot us down. which is supposed to be a constitutional right, guaranteed by the Constitution itself, that you can strike for what you want and no harm will come to you. If harm, they're being killed, they're being shot, and this is a violation of a Bill of Rights, right? It's a violation of a human right that is the freedom charter and everything that it's supposed to be supporting. Can we honestly we can't just put it on the feet of the ANC. It's literally the state versus the students. The state will shoot you down and the students, they protest. So that the question that is always going to be in my mind is constantly going to be that, is the state perhaps not advancing one right, which is maybe the right to be able to protect, to have your property protected, something like that, in or at the expense of an actual core human right, which, as we recently saw, is the right to life. Secondly, the right to protest.
I think that the reason why I keep on smiling is I think people have a different understanding of what a human right is. You understand? And as much as these rights, we're told that we have these rights, right? You need to understand that these rights are limited, right? And I'm not saying that the right to life is limited, but I'm just saying that we are given paper-based rights, right? For a black child to say that I have rights. But you need to understand, at a certain time in life, you realize that your black rights are different from the other race rights. You understand? So what? And you need to understand that when you look at such issues and saying that, okay, we have human rights, right? There's someone who's sitting there deciding which human right you deserve. There's someone out there with the right to say shoot to kill.
So to understand you correctly, because we're also running out of time, essentially what you're basically trying to say is that, like, look, we all have human rights, but someone in a better position is going to choose which right is more important than the other. And that person doesn't necessarily have to be the state, but it's whoever is in power. Now, if you want to take into consideration the context that we're dealing with, we can only say that it is the state that is going to be in power, because we fight against the state. We protest against the state. We are putting our issues to the state. So only the state is the person who has power here. And if the state then is going to be the one that decides, like, this is the right that is good, this is the right that is not bad, we're going with this one, we're living with that one, then in my mind, that clearly tells me that out there is some sort of individual. We'll not use the word oppressor or evil because it doesn't sit well with you, but somewhere out there is an individual who's got this incredible ability to decide what is plausible, what is viable, and what is most suitable for the situation. And depending on their opinion, then they will decide how they're going to deal with it. And if history is anything to go by, and by history, I literally mean what happened 3 weeks ago, someone was okay with students being shot at with ammunition that could kill them. And somebody died, an innocent bystander. Somebody got shot, and there were rumors that they might become crippled. And that was a student. So essentially, for me, the fact still remains, which is that we have a student, an oppressor. And that oppressor is, in my opinion, most likely going to be someone in power. And given the fact that what we're talking about is the state, that means the state is going to be the one in power. And we also know that the state is made up of people who used to be former liberation struggles, people who used to fight for the liberation. So those people who we can assume are in state are the people who have now become the new stopgates. Again, I'm trying to run away from the word oppressors because it doesn't sit well. Stopgate, vanguard of a system that seemingly perpetuates the same things they had to fight for.
Thank you for watching our videos. If you wish to become part of the conversation, go to any of our social media platforms, send us a message, and we'll be in touch. This is Bosbe Mukwambo for Legal Shebeen.